Welcome to Statesmen, the podcast where we explore all 50 states with our five senses. If you come here for history, we'll give you some. But most of this is half-baked opinion that is never intended to harm or offend anyone. Today, we paint a picture of the nation's warm and beating heart. Landlocked and bordering an astounding 8 states, this 69,715 square mile swath of Earth was purchased by the United States as part of a large land acquisition known as the Louisiana Purchase from France's famously big boy, Napoleon Bonaparte in 1803. The Boone Slick quickly became instrumental in U.S. westward expansion, being the birthplaces of the Lewis and Clark expedition and the Oregon Trail. Pocked by a karst landscape of sinkholes, limestone bluffs, and caverns, its vast and rolling northern country covers more than a third of the state, sharing the other portions with the Ozark Plateaus and the southern Boot Heels alluvial plains. In describing Missourians, U.S. Democratic Congressman Willard Van Devere in 1899 quoted, "I come from a state that raises cotton and corn, cockleburs and Democrats, and frothy eloquence neither convinces me nor satisfies me. I'm from Missouri, and you have to show me. Welcome to the Show Me State. Welcome to Missouri."
Here come them Statesmen boys again.
I'm your older statesman, Tim Ferrari, along with my junior statesman, Anthony Rossi,
What is up?
and Stuart Highcar.
Hello.
Welcome to the podcast, boys.
One that's a true in the wheelhouse for you, because you are from Missouri.
That's correct. This is a home state podcast of one of the statesmen. Your very own elder statesman is from Missouri, and it's going to be an exciting one today.
You're so excited that you're fucking up your mic right now.
I am fucking up my
Yeah,
mic right
Jesus,
now. This
what?
is like my little mesh shit is falling all over the place, and
If only you had ordered one that wasn't broken.
well, that's very true. It was not broken at a time, but now it is broken, and severely so. So I might just be holding this for the entire podcast.
That works for me. That's fine for me.
I'm totally okay with that as well.
Well, you're not going to like it when I have to cut into this delicious taste that I've brought for you guys today.
Yeah, no spoilers on that. I want to ask you guys, how was your week?
It's okay. I'm feeling better. Last podcast I was a little sick, but now I'm a healthy boy.
It's so good to hear. Have you been up to anything this week, Anthony?
Yeah, I've been moving and shaking throughout town, making myself seen, networking, that's what I do, hand out business cards.
Yeah, were you at that thing at the Drake Hotel last weekend?
Oh, I was at that thing at the Drake Hotel. That was my
Absolutely.
thing, baby.
That was your thing?
Oh, yeah, that's one on the baby count for you.
You're Susan G. Komen?
I am Susan G. Komen. I'm not only affiliated, I have assumed a new identity.
Okay,
Well,
well,
let's welcome junior statesman Susan G. Komen to the podcast.
Hi.
Hey, wow, really, really great
you
to
have
meet
a similar voice to our old host.
Oh, well, that can be explained easily. I just told you I've assumed a new identity. I didn't say I changed anything else.
Well, we were just
Beautiful.
being respectful of your identity and calling you as such.
But in all seriousness, shout out to Susan G. Komen, the real Susan G. Komen.
Yeah. Am I correct in saying, and this might just be a baseless accusation. Jesus
What? Are you
Christ.
okay? Are you okay?
I'm not doing well. All right, guys. I've had a very long day when I was outside in the rain for like many hours, and I got cold and wet, and as the more that I talked about it and the more that I complained, the worse it got.
Interesting how that happens.
Isn't it?
Sounds like you're next up on the rotation of sickness,
That's true.
and I can't be blamed.
I mean, you might get a little blame. We kiss.
Yeah, fair. We couldn't keep your hands off me at the Drake Hotel.
Oh my God! All right, well let's get the rest of the show started. Joining us this week, very excitingly, is the director of operations at the Crowd Theater in Chicago, a stellar comedian, a very, very nice and funny guy. We've got Dillon Cassidy in the studio.
Hello, everyone. Hey.
Welcome.
Oh
Welcome.
boy, there's that classic energy Dillon Cassidy's known for bringing.
And what
you
character
so
and personality? I mean, really just booming through the mic right now, man.
It's really good to be here with you, Tim.
Wow, that's so
Okay,
awesome.
and the rest of us as well.
Yeah, it's good to see you too. Andrew, right?
Anthony.
Okay,
Susan.
cool. This is going great. Dylan, you
Stuart,
are.
if you could just step out.
Yeah, no problem,
Yeah.
guys. I'm just gonna go ahead and put my headphones down. And
Okay, well, so this week we're doing Missouri, and we have the pleasure of bringing in another person who's from the state of Missouri. So Dylan, tell us, where are you from in Missouri?
I lived a lot in Kansas City, which is in Missouri.
Surprisingly, right on the border though.
Misleadingly so, yeah.
Is like half the city in Kansas?
Correct. There are 2 mayors.
Whoa,
That's crazy.
that's a schism.
can you
That's pretty
name
cool.
either of them?
I know that the mayor on the Missouri side's name is Sly, and I think that's really funny.
I like the idea that he's like an old-fashioned like loan shark from the 20s or something with a pencil-thin mustache and a little toothpick in his
You
teeth.
couldn't be more wrong about what this guy looks like.
Okay, great.
It's me, Sly. I've come to lay down some new laws.
Well, this city's built for me. Yeah? What do you guys think of that impression?
It's good, yeah.
Yeah. I'm Slash Malone, mayor of Kansas City.
But were you born in Missouri, or did you just live there growing up?
Oh, I moved a lot. I was born in Little Rock, Arkansas.
Whoa, very interesting.
And then I lived
Where
in
else
New
did you
Jersey.
move to?
New Jersey?
New Jersey.
Hey, me too.
Wow.
I was born in New Jersey.
Okay.
And then I moved to Missouri.
Okay.
Yeah.
I moved from New Jersey to Missouri. Well, first to Kansas and then to Missouri.
Where in New Jersey were you?
Tabernacle.
Where's that?
I would say it was an hour from Trenton, but so is everywhere else in
Yeah.
New Jersey.
Yeah. Is it anywhere near the shore?
Oh my god.
He just fist bumped.
Yeah, Stu just gave a hand gesture here.
What if you how young were you when you moved to Missouri from New Jersey?
I 5th grade.
Okay, so you do have some memories of New Jersey life. Can you tell me what's the biggest difference between New Jersey and Missouri?
Oh gosh. Not that big of a memory, I would suppose then.
Okay. Did you have a good time in elementary school?
I switched schools every year until 8th grade.
Oh my god.
Oh.
I remember being incredibly depressed when I moved from New Jersey to Missouri.
As was
and,
I, yeah.
Moving many, many times. Like 8. How many times did you say?
Well, I switched. It was like a weird. I had to change schools every year just because we moved, and then like districts changed, and it was just a bunch of mumbo jumbo.
Your dad wasn't like an Ozarks guy?
No, my dad is a professional roadie.
What?
What?
Yeah, he's on tour with Def Leppard and Journey right now.
That is kick ass.
What?
Pour
Whoa.
some sugar on me.
Wait, so what does a professional roadie do?
He is a lighting crew chief, so he's like originally
Oh.
from Kansas, Missouri area.
Hell yeah.
Lived there his whole life, but his job doesn't have a like singular location, so my family kind of moved around a lot.
So is like a roadie just like a different word for like a stage
And
crew
yeah,
or like Oh, okay.
But I think they
There's a
also
union.
get like they get girls, right?
Well, yeah, that's the roadie that I think of as like a traveling hot person.
Yeah,
That-
I
sure.
think-
Yeah,
a
my dad's
group.
hop.
Yeah.
My dad's super hot.
I believe it because
Pull up a pic.
yeah, I mean the genes are right there. I see them right before my eyes.
Gosh darn! How did your parents meet?
Oh, that's a fun one. So
Thanks
there's
for the
like a whole
warning.
story. I think that they were meant to be together. Like when my dad was in high school, he got in a fight with some guy and like totally wrecked him and broke his arm and leg. And that was my mom's boyfriend at the time, and they did not know each other.
Hell yeah!
And there's a picture of my mom like at a concert. This was like years later, before they met still, and it's in front of the booth, and then you can see my dad in the booth.
No way!
And then apparently, this is what she says. She was driving a bus at the time and saw my dad and said, "That's the man I'm going to marry." Of course, because that's how the stories go.
Yeah.
And then they dated for 8 or 9 years and then got married. And then I came along a few years later.
Did they get married in Missouri? Is my question.
I don't know where their wedding was.
Interesting.
You're a bad son.
But
I'll ask.
but so when you moved from New Jersey to Missouri, it was kind of a return of sorts for your father.
For sure, yeah. We actually lived with my paternal grandmother for a couple of years.
How's she doing?
Oh, she's very dead.
Ouch,
Man.
man. Well,
Well, I believe
20 years almost. So
Yeah,
it's,
okay,
it's
so
okay.
this isn't fresh.
This is not new.
That's
maybe
good.
15 years.
I'm glad we didn't stumble into that
No.
one. Can I ask you, how long have you been in Chicago? You're obviously a huge name in the city. I can't think of someone who doesn't know you. So
the fact that you're even on this podcast is it makes me feel more famous.
It makes me feel embarrassed for you.
yeah, it makes you look bad.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you guys not to air this, but I guess since we're this far in, I've been in Chicago for 5 years now.
Okay, and all the time before that, did you spend in Missouri after that move?
Pretty much, because I went to school in Missouri as well.
Right. So what's the biggest difference? I know I asked about New Jersey, but coming to Chicago,
Sure.
up north.
Well, Chicago is just a big change from pretty much anywhere else in the Midwest, just because of the number of amenities in a city this size. But I think the hardest thing for me is how early it gets dark. This just even a little bit further north, especially we hit daylight savings time. Yesterday, the day before?
Yeah, today.
It's dark at 5.
I mean, we're dating this podcast a little bit, but last night, guys, it was 2 a.m. and then it was 1 a.m. and I was shocked.
It kills me every time. It just completely wipes me out, and it really kicks in that seasonal depressive disorder, you know?
Yeah,
I mean, it gave me an extra hour to play some good old Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah,
2.
I used that
That's
same
good.
hour. In terms of the Red Dead update, I mean, still
mean,
going on, still
yeah,
dumping hours into it,
Still plugging away at people.
hurting my relationships with others.
Definitely with me, I would say.
Yeah, when's the last time I talked to you,
Yeah.
Anthony?
Right now.
What?
Well, so the Stu studio is located in our podcast in Chicago, or in our apartment in Chicago, and
Don't
the
tell
room.
them where we live.
Well, you know, they have to know.
Everyone's heard of the Stu Studio,
Yeah.
so they know where we live.
I mean,
Bottom
Dylan
of
heard of
the
the Stu
seminary.
studio.
That's true. God damn it.
But it's separated. The rooms are separated. So
By a
Stu-
very nice curtain.
yeah, nice soundproof curtain.
Okay, now are we going to get into what exactly is in this
Yeah.
room?
Well, so the reason why
Once you
Anthony
enter the door,
has
take
been
a left. You'll find Stuart's room.
Oh, do not go into my room, burglars. I have traps set up, and they will hurt you.
He absolutely does not.
Yes, I do. I cracked a bunch of ornaments, and I put them on the floor, and so your feet will get hurt.
Okay,
hurted.
Kevin. All right, we could wrap that portion up like a present and get back to Missouri here.
Yeah.
How
What
about that?
are we talking about?
Yeah.
Missouri.
What are we talking about?
We were talking. So we just talked about, you know, you're from Missouri. The changes between Chicago and Missouri are like rather staunch. What
Yeah.
do you feel about Missouri? Like, what do you remember about Missouri? What are your feelings towards Missouri right now?
Sure. I think Missouri is a very interesting. Surprisingly, I think it's an interesting state with like a very interesting cross section of people. It's very Midwestern, but it's also the contrast between like the people in the metropolitan areas and the rest of the state are so like
Night and day.
that and very demonstrative of I think like the issues in this country right now, because I mean the red-blue divide is so very clear. There is like there's 3 blue areas and then there's just a field of red in between.
And I know we said before we started recording that we weren't going to get into politics today, but time to give another shout out to Ed Helms, who has yet to even mention me on social media since last week. What do you think about that, Dylan?
I don't think he. I don't know why he would mention you, Stuart.
Yeah, I also agree. Like, you called him out and you called him alt-right, and like I just don't feel like that was appropriate. I'm really sorry for Ed Helms and any obsessive follower of this show.
You know who
that
I'm
goes
sorry
after him.
for
I
is Bradley
don't do it.
Cooper for having to have his career in any way tied to that monster. Ed, if you're out there, message
Oh my
me.
god!
So where did you go to school in Missouri?
Ooh, I went to the University of Missouri where I was a tour guide. In fact,
Nice.
Nice.
So you know everything about it.
Is
I
that
do.
Is that Mizzou? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
the zoo.
I heard it's a big party school. Are you a party guy?
I enjoy them. I like them.
There's a beautiful campus up there.
It's
beautiful
lovely.
country around
Yeah,
there.
a lot of limestone, classic Missouri limestone.
classic
buildings.
Missouri
Oh,
limestone.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And what did you, if you don't mind me asking, what did you major in?
Theater.
Would you just give us like a little, two things I want to request from you. One, a monologue you've prepared.
Yeah.
And two, just like a little piece of advice you might give when you're out on a tour. If someone's asking you for like a personal recommendation, a hot spot they could check out, even if it's a little off campus, just something you might slip in as an extra little gold nugget for your tour group.
Oh, sure. I was a big time fan of the East Side Tavern in right there on Broadway. Oh, you can't miss it. That's where I did karaoke there almost every Thursday for 4 years.
What's your song?
Well, I have a selection, but I'm a big fan of Jimmy Eat World's The Middle.
Nice.
I like to do Absolutely by 9 Days, Yellow Card's Ocean Avenue. I won a karaoke contest there once. It was
Wow.
one of my...
Are you a singer?
No, not at all. Karaoke's about song choice.
Oh, gotcha.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
very, very
it's
true.
all about getting the crowd on your side
Yeah.
at the beginning of the song, right?
Yes.
Which is why I always do Lips of an Angel by Hinder. Everybody loves it and can't help but sing along or cry or both.
Absolutely, absolutely. I love going to a bar with you that doesn't have karaoke and you...
Fighting my way on stage.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Sometimes it has to come out.
Yeah, no blame, Susan.
Don't go to a bar with Anthony.
Can I ask you, what is like, if you remember anything from those tour days at Mizzou, like walking backwards and talking to a group of people, why not just walk forwards and turn your head?
Gee, Stu, that's a great question.
Thank you.
And you know what? I'm not even going to dignify it with an answer.
You fucking coward. You and Ed Helms.
That's a
Two
perfect...
whites.
All right.
Oh
Okay.
my God. Anyway, let's
Ed,
get...
message me.
Let's all make sure that everyone knows Stuart is milk white as well.
I am very white. Fight me, Ed.
All right. Well, let's get to the lay of the land of this whole thing. Let's get to the meat of the podcast and really explore Missouri with our 5 senses, shall we, guys?
Yes.
Yes, please.
So, as always, we're going to start with the smell section. I've prepared something very, very special for you all, courtesy of my sister, Maddie.
Really, anything would have been better than last week's.
Deer piss.
It was deer piss.
You will be incredibly disappointed
Oh,
because
no.
I brought in something even better this time.
More deer piss, I'm sure.
Pulling it out of my bag. So, courtesy of my sister.
What the hell is that?
Now,
What
please
is-
go ahead and describe what you guys see right now.
I see a bag of poop.
It seems to be a bag
It's a
of
brown
shit.
lump in a plastic bag that could definitely be poop.
Now, Dylan is the most correct. It is a brown lump. It is not poop. We're gonna pass this around, and just as
There's hair in it.
just as a little game.
I think that might be grass. Is that just a chunk of ground from Missouri?
So, being from Missouri, I have a wealth of access to the earth there.
This
so-
is a piece of mud in a bag.
Wow. Exclusive.
It's fresh prime Missouri ground.
It certainly is fresh. It's still very cold, a little bit damp, a little wet, and it smells. It smells like ground.
Smells like ground.
Dylan, what do you think? You're taking a big walk.
Oh yeah.
It feels like ground too.
Wow.
Does that say Missouri to you when you inhale deeply from that bag? Does that take you back?
Absolutely.
It's like a nice earthen, it's just a ground smell. It just, brings me right back to my roots.
And now at the end of this segment, if you were, rude or mean, you could pull the rug out from under us by just telling us that this is ground from just outside.
But I wouldn't do that. That would completely compromise the integrity of the entire podcast, and I feel like undermine the institution of the Statesmen. And being the elder statesman, I feel like that's my primary role, is to uphold our jurisdiction here.
My question is, what do you intend to do with this now that we've smelled it? What do you...
Well, so I have a little bit more to tell you. It's
About that wad.
So this wad is not just from the ground in Missouri. It is from the Missouri River.
Whoa.
It is river water. It is
Runs right by
river
my house.
ground, river soil. Oh, it's right by your house. Right
Do you
by
want to
my
give
house.
that
too.
address?
I'll give you the zip code 64152.
Ooh, good one.
So, what do you guys smell in this? Like, everybody's smelled some ground
I
before.
definitely caught a couple of whiffs of I couldn't exactly explain it on my first smell because I think I didn't know that it was river mud. So I just assumed it was a wet, maybe a church ground mud, right? But now that
Tim is really getting into
now
that
that
bag.
I'm going second into
Go
it,
back home.
Yeah, I'm picking up the smells that I would capture if I was maybe down by the creek with my friends around 6th, 7th grade when I was just starting to blossom into a man.
I'm imagining the droplets of water coming off of 2 wooden paddles, one from me in my hand and the
Who has
person
the other?
behind me. Well, I guess that's for you to guess.
Tim,
And what?
Why don't we go out onto the lake, you and me, slice the log?
I don't know. Sly, why are you here?
That smells to me. I got like some sort of like mineral element to it.
Well, it is mud.
Okay, fair, very fair.
Smells like the woods.
Yeah,
Ooh.
and which is terribly Missouri. I grew up in the woods in Missouri.
Did you guys ever
Where are
get
you from,
ticks?
Missouri? Oh, all the time. But actually more in New Jersey.
Interesting.
I'm from St. Louis, so I'm on the other side.
The other side.
I'm on the other side. Which is interesting. We both kind of share the same geography, though. Like in St. Louis, it's kind of the same over there in Kansas City.
Split on the state line.
Yeah.
Can I ask you something, Dylan?
Maybe.
This has been a problem with Tim for most of the time I've known him. He, and I don't know if this is the right time to get into it, but he has pretty staunchly said since the beginning of our friendship that
I feel like you're going to lie right here.
he is not from the South.
Oh.
And that Missouri is not the South. What is your opinion on that?
Oh my
It's hard.
God.
I don't feel like Missouri is the South.
Oh,
Now, hold on.
fuck yeah.
I feel a butt coming.
But I feel like that technically, if we look at where the Mason-Dixon line was, it is unfortunately a southern state. But I don't think it is.
Okay.
I don't think it's
Pardon me.
conventionally, like in the modern zeitgeist, I don't think it's a southern state.
Interesting.
I think when I think the South, I think the Southeast specifically, like Alabama, Georgia, whatever else is down there.
I think the biggest thing I have to throw back at you. Yeah, that's strange. You don't know any others. Florida, I guess, is down there.
Florida, Virginia.
What about people who specifically pronounce it Missouri?
They exist, and they're the southern part of Missouri.
I think we have all agreed now that Missouri is the South and Tim is Southern.
That's like, it's completely not true. I agree that according to the Mason-Dixon line, yeah, like Missouri was a slave state. But I would say that half of it was a slave state. It was split in half and split along Civil War lines.
Here's a fun Missouri fact. So Mizzou, where I went to college, had a very long-standing rivalry with the University of Kansas,
Go Kansas.
which started because they came and burned the university campus to the ground.
Whoa.
Wow.
So it's actually like a rivalry that was rooted in bloodshed, which ended while I was there.
It ended.
Yeah, because we switched conferences.
Oh.
But you guys still don't particularly like them.
No, but we don't play them anymore.
If somebody from the University of Kansas were to... If you were, so you take yourself back, you're back on University of Missouri's campus, Mizzou's campus, and you see some motherfucking
Filthy
Jayhawk, just like, calling up a storm on the quad in front of the columns. I know those columns.
Beautiful.
He's taking a shit on the columns. What do you
Oh,
do?
he's shitting horizontal, like he's pooping against the side of a column, his cheeks pressed and spread against it.
Well, I'm going to go next door to the columns to Brady Deaton, Chancellor of the University of Missouri, and have him take care of this riffraff, because we don't need that on our campus.
Big shout out to Brady Deaton. I know he's a listener.
Brady Deaton, if you don't paint the columns red with Jayhawk blood, you're not a real leader.
Did you guys ever do anything back? Were there any fun school pranks to the Jayhawks? Did you go and like kill a bird on their campus or something?
I feel like back in the day there was stuff like that involved like stealing the bell or that sort of thing. But
Or like
it was,
genociding of the Jayhawk species
Yeah, that's why there aren't any more Jayhawks
in
alive.
Missouri. That's very interesting and a true fact. You will never see a Jayhawk in Missouri.
I
Or
have
anywhere.
I have a quick question about Missouri, real quick. So, what was the name of the faculty member from your school?
Brady Deaton, Chancellor.
Brady Deaton, and then we have Sly, then we have Dillon, and then we have Tim Ferrari,
Tommy Sports Car.
Timothy Ferrari. Wait, no, I'm sorry. Your name is spelled Dillon.
Yeah, it is.
I was about to ask, does everyone from Missouri have a Y in their name? But my concept has just been completely burned to the ground. Please
And
forget
Tim
I
does
said
spell
anything.
his name T-Y-M.
Oh no, the full name is Timothy. So there is a Y in there. I'm sorry. I'm a little hazy. I've been leaning away from the mic to cough. I thought I was over my sickness, but I'm plunging deep
what
back
is
into it.
happening?
I'm
right.
dying.
You're
breaking out
like
into a sweat.
actively getting sick in this chair.
All right. So we took a smell of Missouri. We got a nice whiff of Missouri. Anthony seems to be a little under the weather, so I'm just going to give him a little 20-minute break and hand the next segment over to Stu, doing the audio segment.
You know,
Let's go, Stu.
maybe I was reacting negatively to putting dirt particles into my nose and system.
Yeah, and you got deep into that thing. I thought I saw you taste it.
I didn't taste it. I just really wanted to make sure I was getting the full smell. For a while, I was just smelling bag.
I was smelling a lot of plastic bag on it as well. I didn't want to bring it up, but
Wanted to give it its
I'll
fair share.
I'll whip it
That's
right
what-
back out. I'll throw this thing on the table.
Please
and
leave
we
it
can-
alone.
Have you guys been to Missouri?
I
lot of
have
plastic
been to Missouri.
smells.
Yeah, I feel like the second I crossed the border, it smelled like someone was burning army men in a campfire.
And that's just the amount of teenagers that are burning shit in a plastic bag in front
I
of
love
doorsteps.
teens, dude.
I did a
love
lot
teens.
of burning stuff as a teen.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Were you a firebug?
Not really, but I mean, it came up.
Can I ask, did you ever do like, I remember thinking back, there's always those warnings about serial killers. It's like they would harm animals as kids and stuff to feel power or to feel like a god. And I, as a kid, would torture the hell out of ants. But
Those
I don't-
aren't animals.
Yeah, I don't think it's on the same level, right? Like I remember putting a bunch of fireworks in anthills as kids.
It's
Yeah.
definitely worse than not doing it
that,
at all.
Yeah,
I would say, but maybe not quite along the same lines as skinning a cat.
That's really good to know. Dylan, did you ever hurt any animals as a kid?
No.
That's good.
Okay,
Perfect.
let's get into the audio segment, I guess.
How uncomfortable would it have been if I had a long story about?
Yeah, about like,
tortured animals.
We used to have a dog,
yeah.
and then my family wouldn't let us have pets anymore.
Guys, so Missouri's musical history. Obviously, before the podcast started, we did hear a little bit of the state song, and it was sort of a fun Southern twang, and it brings up the fact that the state dance is the square dance. Really a fun fact about the state. Do you have any experience square dancing, Dylan?
I don't think I've ever actually done a real technical square dance.
Hey, and that's totally okay, because anytime you're dancing, it is square.
Whoa. Dylan has died in the studio. We have a dead body on the ground.
Yeah, man, sorry. Dylan and I got history. I gotta get to Bernstein where I can.
You're just
dude.
dunking on him right now.
Speaking of dunking on him, I do want to start my first song, and this is from an artist that was born and bred in Missouri, and, well...
Is it Shania Twain?
Fuck. It is not Shania Twain.
What is this?
Oh, guys, it's Chuck Berry with Johnny Be Good.
Oh, hell
Came
yeah.
to Mizzou when I was there.
He came to Mizzou. He was alive?
Barely.
Oh my God. Did he play like music or did he just show up and like say hello?
He played music,
Yikes.
but it was in the auditorium, so it was like a sit-down event.
Oh, so you didn't get any one-on-one time with Chuck?
I did not get
As a tour guide.
no, they didn't. But I was the student. I was director of special events programming, so I did all the comedians.
Oh, did you meet anyone cool?
Seth Meyers and Nick Offerman and a few other folks.
Cool. Anybody, I guess I'm just trying to get back to Ed Helms. I
No.
want to ask you, so Johnny Be Good is like pretty famous for being in like Back to the Future, right? And I think that kind of blew it up again. But have you ever tried duck walking? So duck walking is the move. I think I'm almost positive Chuck Berry is the one who sort of originated it. It's hanging the guitar by the side, sort of scrouching down, and then like hopping a little bit on one foot.
I thought that was an AC/DC thing.
Nope, Chuck Berry was
Inspired
before
by it.
AC/DC.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, actually, AC/DC stole rock and roll from Chuck Berry.
Chuck Berry's old.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Chuck Berry, even more famously than thought of be like in Back to the Future, he's famous for practically
Having a cousin named Marvin Berry.
practically creating modern rock and roll as we know it and propelling it forward in that
Yeah.
direction of electric guitar.
I
and-
think his sound is sort of what you think of as 50s rock and roll, and it's unfortunate that a lot of white artists were able to just totally steal it and go forward. He obviously found a ton of success. Have you guys ever heard the song My Ding-a-Ling?
Yes, I have.
Okay, this is the shit when it comes to Chuck Berry. I didn't get a link for it, and now I feel like a fool, but essentially it's a song where he just goes like, my ding-a-ling, I want her to play with my ding-a-ling, something like that. And it became like a massive hit in the 70s. Like, people were like fucking excited to hear it and throwing panties at like a very old man on stage, essentially, as he screamed it out. And this is a man who had... well, I don't know if this is the right time to bring it up, but he has multiple counts of sexual crimes against him in crazy ways. Like, he took children across borders. He started a bar where he like filmed people peeing through secret double mirrors in the bathroom. Like, dude's fucking crazy.
So starting us off on a rough track for Missouri musicians.
And
Yeah,
what the fuck
but-
is that? That
Setting
like
a
seems
poor
like
example.
a direct slight.
On what?
I feel like towards me. I feel like you've been
Towards
trying to
you,
you've been
Tim?
trying to pin me as like this southern like
Child
racist alt-right child molester, and
I have been doing none of those things. I've simply brought up the points, and you've taken offense to them, which I think might be...
Well, it's
Where are you
because-
from again?
Where am I from?
Yeah.
say it.
Colorado. Yeah, name one crime that ever happened there.
Cannibalism,
Huh?
asshole.
All right, song number 2. Another crime, not just against, I don't know, I guess people, but music in general. And I hope you guys are ready. Anthony, I think you are specifically going to like this one.
Is it 50 Cent?
With the snare and the bass square in the face, this fucking world better prepare to get laced
Classic.
because they're gonna taste my venom.
Wait,
No,
this can't be right.
Why would...
Eminem's from Michigan.
He's
way,
from
baby.
Detroit, but guess what? He was born in
Missouri. in
That's right,
Independence.
motherfucker. I
Very
found a way to
true.
play Venom.
that's upsetting.
Yeah, Venom's a terrible song, but how do you feel about being from the same state where the Slim Shady was born?
Love Eminem.
Yeah,
great.
Yeah, Eminem fan over here too. Although I think this is coming from a Missouri guy. I more closely associate like rap and hip hop to St. Louis with like Tech Nine or Nelly.
Nelly, for sure. I saw him on the list, but
That's what I was thinking of.
Nelly lived like 25 minutes from my house.
Tech
You
Nine,
didn't-
the Kansas City Clown.
You didn't put a single Nelly song on this playlist?
No, I actually took one off because I thought
You
it would
were
be just too basic.
You
You
were
bumped it
replacing
for
it with
Venom?
Venom.
I replaced it with Venom, yeah, a better song.
I should slap you right now. He literally,
If you come across this table and slap me, I'm going to turn into a 6'8" monster. Knock, knock, let the devil in. Mix it with malevolence.
people refer to St. Louis as Nellyville.
No, people refer to Kansas City as, what do they refer to Eminem? Eminem
No,
House?
they talk about Tech Nine in Kansas City.
All right, well,
Tech
y'all,
Nine?
Tech Nine?
let's get right into our next song, which is a totally
I'm
different
going to paint
genre.
my face like Tech Nine right now.
Eee.
What does that mean?
He always paints his face.
Oh, okay.
Chill out.
Can anyone name who this is?
Tech Nine?
Is this part of the Kansas City jazz?
It is, in fact, part of the jazz scene of Missouri in general, one of the homes of jazz music in early America as it started. So many great artists coming out of there. And Dylan, would you like to name this one?
No, I would not like
It's
to.
Charlie Parker.
Okay.
Oh, the bird.
That's right. See, doing my research, I came across a lot of information on jazz music.
The
in
research you were
particular.
doing.
12 minutes
20.
after the podcast was supposed to start.
Yes, and also 30 seconds into the intro, which we didn't bring it up. That was a long one.
Oh, that was a long one.
I thought it was great.
I wanted to do it. I wanted to do Missouri justice.
for
You know,
Steve's
being from Missouri, I was like kind of worried that I was gonna fuck it up.
Yeah, but I noticed last week's it was rhyming in sort of a poem, and this week's was...
Right. Well, I decided to go more prose on this one. In the same spirit as Mark Twain, who is also from Missouri.
You want to hear some other famous people from Missouri?
Yes. No,
Burt-
not now. No, not now.
Oh,
Your
well,
au-
Burt Bacharach.
It's your audio segment, not
Burt
the
Bacharach
fucking...
is a singer and a musician, and I don't have any songs from him, but
I don't know who that is.
Burt Bacharach?
I don't really know who that is either. I've heard the name.
All right,
Never heard of him.
how about
My
this?
God.
Scott Bakula?
Okay, that
That name
is
I know.
more
Is he a
familiar.
news person?
No, he was on Quantum Leap and Star Trek.
Oh, Scott Bakula, he judged one of our
Yep, he judged-
Chicago Improv Tournament college shows.
Yep, I don't know why he was there, but Scott, if you can
It's a
tweet
gig.
me and
It's
just
a
tell me
gig.
why the hell you were judging that would be awesome. And the unsinkable Molly Brown is from your guys' state.
Another Y name, I will point that out.
Very good. This last song on the segment, I think,
Missing
is
some big ones.
Famous people?
Yeah.
No, I got the big three.
Okay.
Burt Bacharach, Scott Bakula, and the unsinkable Molly Brown. Who else?
Well, I guess,
we'll never know.
Yeah, who cares? If they're not Molly Brown.
I don't think we'll ever do this state ever again anyway.
This last song is... I know there was a joke one in there. Venom, I just wanted to play because I feel like the lifespan of the song Venom is really dying quickly, and I think it's funny and people should hear it while it's still available. But this next one I do think will represent your state at least pretty well.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Maybe I'm the one, maybe I'm the one who is a schizophrenic psycho, yeah.
Maybe
That was
I'm
pretty
the
good.
one.
Dylan, I see you're not singing. What's going on?
trying to figure out who this is.
Puddle of Mud with two Ds?
Yeah, no,
I didn't
that's
know
what
they
I thought. They went to my rival high school.
Rival High School?
Yeah, they went to Park Hill.
Were you there at the same time as them?
No, they're a few years older, but that guy got arrested for riding the baggage carousel at KCI. So his life is really, he's doing well.
Sounds fucking
How do you read
rad,
up on
dude.
that guy's life right now? He's a mess.
do you go to prison if you ride the baggage carousel?
I don't think you go to prison, but you're definitely not supposed to do that.
Yeah,
Put to death. Unacceptable.
So, in my opinion, I think Puddle of Mud Psycho is kind of a great song to represent the state because it combines both some of the crazy people in those blue spots you were talking about, and then also that mud we smelled earlier, that hard earth, you know?
Wait,
That
hold
we-
on.
huh?
Let's just not glaze over the fact that you indicted the blue areas of Missouri when you're actively attacking Ed Helms for being alt-right. Pick a side, Stu. Where the fuck are you?
I'm right in the center like a normal American. These elections have gone so wishy-washy, crazy, baloney, you know? And I just think we need to vote everybody out, put in completely new people, and see a new government rise from this great land.
Sly can stay, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere.
Okay.
But we do have bags of mud. We have puddles of mud on this podcast. But no Nelly. I'm still mad at you for bumping Nelly.
Why do you guys think that? Like, what do you think goes into the like me picking songs for this segment?
I'd
I think
say,
you picked whatever would most embarrass the people from Missouri.
yeah, that's what
Okay.
it seems like. It's also
Okay.
like,
Seems like you've got an agenda, Stu.
seems like you have an agenda, and it also seems like you put in negative work. And
Negative.
I would
work.
love to come back when you guys do Colorado.
yeah, I
Yeah,
would,
and you'll
that'd be
get to
nice.
see me play the hits. These are the hits
You
from
gonna
your
play
state.
303 Choke Chain?
Yeah, I'll fucking play. Choke chain for my home man.
If you don't play 303 at this point, you're a.
I'm not gonna say my motherfucking phone number, but it starts with a 303 because they're from Boulder County, baby. 303.
If
I
you-
love those guys.
If you can guess Stu's phone number,
yeah, tweet me Ed Helms. If you know my fucking phone number, I'll eat you.
hashtag 303 Stu phone.
Hashtag
I'll give
303.
you the first six. It's 303-815.
And if
And
you
the
can
rest,
guess
if
the
you can
last-
guess the last four numbers in my phone number, send me a text.
All right,
and
I'll
maybe
just
we'll
give the
hook
last
up.
four. We're this deep already. Let me just pull this up.
Guys, I feel like you are all attacking me just because I showed you that the music from your state is good.
You've created the culture of attacking people on this show. with your
attacking
Ed
people on
Helms
this.
talk.
I'm not attacking Ed Helms. I'm stating a fact that I happen to know about Ed Helms.
Okay. Well, you're taking time away from talking about the Bird, one of the most iconic jazz musicians of all time, and a master of his craft and instrument.
You want to talk
And
about
if it-
Whiplash?
What?
The movie Whiplash?
Does that take place in Missouri?
No, but they.
Then, frankly, no. I couldn't give a fuck about it right now. I'm trying to do a
Right.
show
Maya
here and be a
Angelou.
professional.
Maya Angelou, yeah, great poet from there, but she's not above Scott Bakula, right?
Interesting how the audio segment only includes music, and all of the music that has been included in the audio segments thus far has failed to live up to any of the guests' expectations.
Isn't that interesting? It's almost as if you're not from a state, you can't 100% understand what people from that state think are the important things.
It's almost as if you did just a little bit more than negative 12 minutes of research, you'd be able to figure out what those hits are.
I feel like Tim is so gosh darn hurt that I didn't play Nelly. Tell me, what's on your face right now?
It's contempt.
I was going to talk about the piece of tape on your cheek.
Well, yeah, I mean, I love looking like Nelly. I have a chin strap to emulate the look of Nelly, who famously has a chin strap.
Dylan, what do you think? These 4 songs, as a whole, don't think of them one at a time because Psycho is obviously better than the rest, but how do they encapsulate the feeling? Charlie Parker, Chuck Berry, Puddle of Mud.
Somewhere in that cross section is probably a little bit of Missouri.
Okay. So, like, if we were to give this 0 to 10 musical eighth notes, how many eighth notes would you give Stu?
We wouldn't go with 8 of those?
No.
Okay, 0 to 10 eighth notes.
I will give it 7 eighths notes and a quarter note.
Wow, that's really
I think
high.
That's good.
Generous.
Yeah. What about you guys? Well, you know
If
what?
it had Tech
You
9,
don't
it
want to
would've
know.
been a
You
10.
don't want to know what
Okay.
my. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the next segment here.
All right, kiss, kiss.
Famously, I am also in charge of taste. I've prepared something very, hopefully delicious for you guys. I hope it matches the last pie that I prepared for you all. I'm gonna go get it. You guys have to banter for a little bit, and I'll
Okay.
be right back.
Last week, Dylan, we had a pie from Indiana, and it was really good. It went over huge.
He set a high bar for himself.
Yeah. So
Who brought or what was the story on the pie?
Well, the pie apparently it's a treat at Indiana fairs or something. It's just like a cream pie, a pretty basic cream pie. But Tim cream pied all of us last week, and like the ratings were through the roof.
So, what are some common, snack foods or main meals you might associate just off the top of your head when you're thinking about Missouri?
Yeah.
Oh gosh. For me, fried okra comes to mind. I think when I think of like of Missouri food, I think of Lambert's, which is like this home of the throwed rolls. Their whole gimmick was that they threw your food at you.
Wait, one more time. What was the name of the restaurant?
Lambert's, home of the throwed rolls. It's in like southern Missouri. Also,
Road rolls.
they would throw the rolls.
Right, but they're not thrown.
They are as you receive them.
Okay. Sorry. I'm sorry, Dylan.
Fried okra. What are your thoughts on that? It's a kind of a divisive dish for many.
I like my fried veggies.
I love it.
If it's done well, it can be very, very good. I will say I've had more bad fried okra than I've had good fried okra.
I think of casseroles too, and like stuff like that.
Is there a restaurant somewhere in Missouri, specifically Kansas City or something, where you grew up, I guess, that you like, when I go home to visit Ma and Pa, I have to visit there?
Yeah, it's Rancho Grande.
Rancho Grande?
It's Mexican food.
Well, I could figure that out. Why is it so good?
Oh, it's just good. It's just pretty good. Got great queso.
Oh, my
But you know what? That's not the hallmark of Missouri.
Can I ask you something? We just had our food come out, and I don't want to draw away attention from it, but today I had someone tell me that queso is like a children's food.
That's upsetting.
It's
That is
not
upsetting.
true, right?
No, that's not true.
It does share the consistency of baby food.
Yeah, but that doesn't. So does diarrhea. It doesn't.
You know what's
mean
gross
anything.
is queso fundito.
Okay, but I would argue that's almost not even queso.
It's upsetting every time I order it on accident.
How about a good chili con queso that has like a little bit of sausage or something in there?
Yeah, I love it.
Delicious.
So Tim's brought out a pan here, and I can't tell from looking at this if it's a dessert or like a main dish.
I bet I can guess what this is, and I think Dylan knows what this is as well.
We'll see.
Well, can you want to
So-
take a guess?
Yeah.
Not yet.
Okay.
Can somebody cut into this while I talk about it? So every week for the taste segment, my girlfriend Michelle Castro and myself, Michelle Castro, student at Loyola University of Chicago and Chicago comedian.
address.
No, she and I bake something every week for the podcast, and so this week I have prepared for you all a St. Louis delicacy. A certain dessert, namely gooey butter cake. Very, very famous St. Louis classic dessert. Basically, you look up gooey butter cake, and it's like the main thing that St. Louis people eat, I guess.
And Emo's Pizza.
Emo's
Very
Pizza.
thin pizza.
That's very true. Although I hate Emo's Pizza. Oh my god, it gives me such a bellyache. They use that
it's
fake
'cause
ass
you
cheese.
eat the whole pizza.
They eat that fake ass cheese. That Provel. I don't believe in that. That's not true.
I just want to switch off. I'm going to switch off cutting with you for just a second because I have a bone to pick with Emo's Pizza.
Okay, yeah, let's get into it.
I was there. I was in St. Louis for a little comedy festival last year around this time, and so we went to Emo's Pizza because the boy who was hosting us said it's the best pizza there. You know, you gotta taste it. You gotta get the fried
That's
raviolis.
an upsetting recommendation, and from I think.
Okay, well, he wanted to take us there, and it seemed very important to him.
Sure.
And so we went there, and we ordered a pizza, and we got some fried raviolis, and they were very good.
Fried
And-
ravioli, very good.
Yeah, they were pretty good. A great side, I'll say that. So I take a bite of this pepperoni pizza, and it's pep. And some of the pepperoni slides out from under the horse cheese or whatever's on there, and it lands on my lower lip, and it's just out of the oven, right? We're
Sure.
there, and it's a little hot, and I'm like, ouch, ow, you know, it stings a little bit. And then I wipe it off my face, keep eating. About 2 or 3 minutes later, I realize my face still hurts, and I go to the bathroom, and it's burned a goddamn hole in my lip. It was so hot coming out to our table that it burned my face, Dylan, and I didn't do anything there. I was too much of a coward, but I'm taking it up with you now.
You know,
Just
I
give it a minute.
I was so hungry.
would realize I have made a grave mistake here, and I didn't mention the thing that Kansas City is most famous for cuisine-wise, and that's barbecue.
Yeah, barbecue.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I personally go to Rancho Grande because it's close to my home and I love it. But you got to go to Oklahoma Joe's, which is on Anthony Bourdain's, rest in peace, 13 Places to Eat Before You Die. And the rest of the restaurants are like in New York, in Italy, in France, and then this gas station barbecue in Kansas City, which is so good. So if you're ever in Kansas City, Oklahoma Joe's, Arthur Bryant's,
Can you
Jack
tell me
Stack.
what are the hallmarks of specifically Missouri barbecue? Every state is different, you know.
Sure, Missouri is more of a sweeter barbecue than like your Nashville hot or whatever. Missouri's sweeter and usually tender. Brisket is a big thing in Missouri.
I've always been a fan of that sweeter sauce, sort of like an enjoyment to go with the savory meat.
Casey Masterpiece.
Oh, baby. Oh, baby.
Oh.
So hopefully we've all had a chance to take a bite of this cake. Tony, you seem to have a mouthful of it. Would you like to tell us how it was?
I pretty much demolished my whole bite. It's delicious. It's really good. I will say, I've had toasted ravioli before. They're vastly better than this.
Oh, yeah.
I would much rather have that. Obviously, it wouldn't have been a fair expectation for you to do the whole barbecue thing, get a brisket going for us, but come on, man, a little toasted ravioli. I'm not taking an issue with the fact you still put in a bunch of effort. Clearly, you know, at least an equivalent amount of effort to what Stu put into.
Whoa!
You put in way less than me. Are you kidding me?
Fucking kidding me?
No, it's delicious. It's got a lot of flavor. It's gooey, and it's definitely buttery. Is there a ton of butter in this recipe?
Surprisingly, no. I think it's like a half cup of butter. So yeah, I mean, like half a stick. That's like
What a misnomer then. What's the deal with the name?
I don't know. I mean, it tastes buttery. That's for sure.
I will say, I think there's something interesting. I've had other gooey butter cake before, and the one I've had before is a lot closer to like a lemon square or something. It's like all gooey, top to
I like
bottom.
this more.
This sort of has like a crust cake thing around it. It's almost like a gooey butter pie.
I topped
Kind
it.
of.
I think I topped it with like a powdered sugar, which I think gives it that like nice crust at the top.
I think what I'm talking about mostly is that there seems to be like an above ground pool of cake around the gooey part in the middle.
Yeah, I see that. It did kind of sink in the center. I don't know how to stop that. I'm not a baker. Michelle is the closest thing to a baker, and
Who?
Michelle, my girlfriend, Loyola University Chicago student, and comedian in Chicago.
Oh, right.
Very funny lady.
Very funny. Significantly funnier than Stewart.
I totally.
Yeah,
Oh my
once
God.
she's on the podcast, we'll see. What state's she from?
California.
California.
We already did that one, huh?
Oh my
Damn,
God.
I know.
It's almost as if you didn't want her to be on
No,
here because
that's
she'd
not what it
outshine you.
is. That's not it at all.
Well, I think Michelle is continuing to prove you our a not so valuable asset to the 45 Kings, having the 45 Kings, the premier improv troupe at Loyola University Chicago. They just won CIT Chicago Improv Tournament regionals.
Again.
They're moving on to nationals again.
Yeah, and we referenced it back. The first time I went, I was judged by Scott Bakula, star of NCIS New Orleans. Why? Why did he judge me?
Wait, would that have been a year that I was on the team?
Yeah, you were with it. Same
Wait,
with Tim.
Scott Bakula was there?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
judged us.
I didn't see him at all.
He was the judge, Tony. He judged our improv.
weird. Very strange.
So if you're listening, Scott, just please, why? Why were you there? Why were you there?
How much are they paying you, Scott? We'll pay you more
I'll
to get
fucking
on this pod
double
here.
it and have you as a guest. That would be rad.
What state are you from, Scott?
Great cue. Oh, Missouri. Yeah, we
Biffed it.
Okay, so you guys like the cake?
Love it.
Nice.
I think we should-
Here's a question. Puppy chow. Is that specific to the Midwest or Missouri?
Have you guys had puppy chow?
Yeah, it's
like dog food.
No.
no, it's like Muddy Buddies, but
Yes.
like a non-branded version.
Right. Yeah, I remember making puppy chow in 6th grade FACS class,
Yeah, it's real popular
Facts.
in Missouri.
Family and Consumer Sciences.
What the hell?
Oh, I had
what that
facts
was.
class. I took it every time I could.
you
You
have-
got to eat more.
Oh my god, I hated. There was a sewing segment, and my teacher had like a huge problem with me. I don't know why. I missed a lot of school. I think.
Anthony and I are looking at each other with the same amount of like total confusion.
I'm
like,
baffled.
Did you go to a public school?
No.
Did anyone?
did.
I did. Yeah.
Okay, why didn't I get this fucking class with you guys?
It's probably called like home ec.
No.
What was your
You didn't
home
get
class?
like a family.
To be fair, I went to a school with like 200 kids. Like we
Okay.
didn't have class.
Did you have like a child raising class?
No, we had a health class where a woman, and this is a true story, took a piece of gum and like put it in a kid's mouth in the front row and made him chew it and then spit it into her hand and said, "Would anyone else want this piece of gum after it's been used?" And then she's like, "Well, that's like the woman's vagina." And like in the back of the room,
What
I
the
was
fuck?
like, "Whoa,
That is not okay.
Yeah, Mama
At all.
Highcar signed a slip saying I never had to go to that class again. It was
Jeez.
Big
That
shout
That
out
was
to
in
Chris.
Colorado. I'm just
That was
checking.
in Colorado,
Okay.
yeah.
Just put that down on
Yeah,
the
not
Yeah,
Missouri.
just-
Not
that-
Missouri.
Put that
What-
down
what-
on a piece of paper.
How did you guys feel about health class in Missouri?
It was
I was
good.
Yeah, I had a fine health class.
I remember the unit we had the first time they did like the sex ed talk. This was like 5th grade. This is still funny to me. One of the questions, it was like an anonymous. You ask questions on a piece of paper, and then the coach reads it, or because it was
Classic.
the gym coach was the guy doing
coach.
Yeah, and the question was, what is masturbation?
Oh.
And you asked it.
No, it wasn't me. I have no idea who asked it, but I will never forget his answer because it was, well, masturbation's kind of like a Twinkie. Once you have it once, you'll always want another one.
That man is a predator.
Genius. or a genius, a Mark Twain type genius.
I don't know. He's more of a who wrote Alice in Wonderland.
Well, I don't know who wrote Alice in Wonderland, but
Something
let's
Carol?
Yeah, Lewis Carroll.
Let's get to our next segment. It's been long anticipated, especially after Stu has just been a total hating asshole. Anthony has prepared
Hating
a
asshole.
visual segment for us that I'm about to pull up and hand over to Stu here.
Okay, couple things. While we're moving out of taste, I just want to say once again, what a banger. This is the delicious
this cake
dish.
is great.
Very
and I'm
good
gonna try
cake.
and get a second here just right now.
Yeah, go ahead and
Absolutely
cut
go
yourself
in
another
there.
slice. It's a little slow going on this download here. Just give me 1 second.
You know what I'll say about this cake that I wasn't necessarily expecting about it is that I don't feel I had my little slice, I had my corner, and it was very, very good. And I don't feel particularly like sick in any way. Like I don't feel like it was very sweet, but I don't think it was too sweet for me.
For me, it was a little rich. I haven't been able to finish my piece, and I haven't eaten all day, but it's too thick for me.
You know, I'm a rich boy out of the gate. I really love like something that I know is gonna give me gout or whatever. Like that's my fucking jam.
Right, and you're also rich in culture, though. I mean, that's one thing that I will give to you.
Dylan graciously offered me another slice, and I had to decline because that was pretty rich. I could already feel it going south.
Before we get 100% out of taste, do we want to just go around the table and give one final eighth note rating to this?
Yeah.
All right, out of
Dylan.
yeah, let's start with Dylan. Out of 10 eighth notes, gooey butter cake, baked by Tim and
We'll give it 9.
9
eighth
eighth
notes.
notes.
Wow. All right, you hear that, Michelle?
Very
that's
good.
That's an incredible review from Dillon, and the only person who we're going to hear a review from because I don't care.
Congratulations. Let's move on to.
Okay, I'm ready. I've been raring to go on this one, and I know that sometimes I've been attacked for having PowerPoints that are a little too long, and I think that you'll find that this is an appropriate length for this beautiful state. And Tim, I don't want to be attacked for the length of this one because this is for you, someone from Missouri. I really want to present.
Do you want
everything.
to reveal beforehand how many slides this one is?
No, I think we'll figure that out. So Missouri is the show me state. So now it's time to show you a little bit about it.
The first slide looks better than most of your first slides, so I'll give you that.
Yeah, it has the slogan on it, and this first slide seems to just be an outline of the state. A pretty classic feature on the show. Dillon,
That's where I live.
wow, right up there. What
Oh.
do you think about the general architecture of your state?
I love the boot.
Yeah, the good old boot heel.
What goes on down there?
That's the Ozarks.
Ooh, Jason Bateman.
It's also the lowest point in Missouri. It's that's where the basins are, the alluvian plains, which is like the Mississippi Basin.
Sounds like a beautiful area. I'm a big fan of your guys' sort of like arching top. I think that's sexy as hell looking.
Oh yeah, I never noticed that. It does
it
look like
has
we have a nice little.
It's a bit of a curve.
Yeah, it's not a straight line like the southwestern portion of
Or
it.
some more boring square states that some of us might be from.
None of us are from any of those. None of us.
So Dillon, what does that look like to you? Like, what's your interpretation of what your state's outline represents?
A Rorschach tester.
Jeez. A house.
Okay.
A house? Okay.
Isn't it famous? Well, I guess this is the. If you look at the entire United States map, doesn't it look like a chef or something like that? When I was going to school in Missouri, I feel like some teacher tried to push the agenda that like a row of states from north to south
Yeah.
looks like a chef, and
I've
I've
heard of that.
never
I think I know
never
what
seen
you're talking
that.
about. It follows the Mississippi River.
Yeah,
And if I'm not
and ends in
mistaken,
Louisiana.
like Kentucky or Tennessee is like their frying pan with a big piece
yes.
of chicken in it.
Yeah, it's
I think
one of
Kentucky's the chicken.
Tennessee's the frying pan.
Yeah.
Louisiana's the feet.
those. Louisiana is the boot.
Hell yeah,
But we
I'd
have
love
the
to
boot
get a better
heel
look at
in
those.
Missouri, which is interesting how we acquired that like just little bit of tail in the southeast there.
Something to play with.
That was something to play with, a little dingling.
All right, next
A lot
slide.
of tourism there.
Lots of dingling.
Okay, so this is the state flag. Some things that I read about this, it's red, white, and blue. That's a nod to the French influence. But the red represents valor, the white represents purity, and the blue, according to our online experts, represents the permanence and justice of the state.
Which is so interesting because historically Missouri has like not permanent at all. I feel like.
In what way?
It was split in the Civil War in the North and South sense, where Missouri along the Civil War lines fought a lot. I feel like I think St. Louis was like a huge area for bloodshed. Like everybody was just killing each other in the streets. It was pretty crazy.
Well, that's ironic because the seal on there. So we've got the red, white, and blue, and then we've got a little circle of stars surrounding the state seal. And the seal is two bears holding up. It's a busy seal. There's a lot going on. Bears holding a ring with an actual like crest inside of it and a helmet up top. But you will see, and the reason I said it's ironic. The seal actually says, "United we stand, divided we fall." But you might notice there's a belt buckle on that bar at the bottom, and that represents the ability for the state to secede if they need to. So they say, "United we stand, divided we fall," but we're also going to unbuckle from the pants of society and dip out if we need to.
I mean, honestly, I haven't seen a seal this busy since Kiss from a Rose went to #1.
Oh my god.
You son of a bitch.
It's crazy how quickly Stu is able to derail
that
a
was
conversation.
a pretty good
It's crazy.
So the helmet represents state sovereignty. And in Latin, that translates roughly to let the good of the people be the supreme law. So, it's a state that values states' rights, I guess.
Huh.
Yeah, I mean that's for sure.
What do you think, Dylan?
There are definitely a lot of people there that would get into a states' right argument with you about federalism versus whatever else.
Boy, I'd love to really get down to the meat and bones with them about it.
I'd love to play with that belt buckle a little bit, but those bears, I'd stay away from those. They represent bravery and strength.
Interestingly, I don't think I've ever heard of a bear being native to Missouri.
They definitely are, but I think they're not populous anymore.
Yeah, we've probably killed a lot of them.
Do you feel that this flag represents your state?
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Yeah,
we'll give it to 'em.
Wow, a resounding yes.
I mean, I feel like with all of these, it's kind of arbitrary as to where.
Wait till we get to Colorado, bitch.
I don't feel any connection towards the flag or the seal or I don't know. I don't feel like I've ever even seen the flag.
Maybe you'll feel more connected to the next slide.
I mean, maybe we have like another fucking 15 more.
Okay, so this is the state flower. They're all equally important, these slides. But this one is one that I like. That's the white hawthorn blossom, the state flower of Missouri. It actually produces fruits, which are called haws. Have you ever had any haw jelly?
It doesn't sound like something that I would eat. No,
No, I don't
I don't think I've ever heard
think
that.
I've heard of that.
Well, how do you feel about that flower? That purity aspect to it? What do you think?
Definitely pretty. It's the middle color of the flag, symbolizing perhaps the transcendental nature of what being a Missourian really means.
Sure, yeah. That sounds good.
Would you call Missouri a very transcendental state?
I mean, it's the gateway to the West.
That's true.
Hot damn! Do you guys have a big gate there?
It's
It's
enormous.
a big
It's
ass
an
arch. It's an
Oh,
arch.
what?
An arch.
Oh, I can't imagine that would make a feature in it because that would be comparable to Nelly being involved in the music segment. Ooh. All right, why don't you scroll down a little bit? We'll get to the next slide and take a look. All right, that's the state bird. Any guesses as to what that little guy might be called?
I know exactly what it is.
I bet it's like
I used to know.
so I'm the only one who has like zero idea. Is it called a chipoca? Chipoca.
Fuck.
A chipoca?
What is that, Stu? Honestly, where are you deriving
A
that?
chipoca wobbler is actually a small bird from, I believe, the South. And because...
Warbler?
No, a wobbler. It's got very bad inner ear stuff going on. What is this bird's name? Why are we...
Tim, do you want to do the honors?
Oh man, I really put my cards on the table here.
You said you knew it.
It's the blue jay.
No, it's the eastern bluebird. Close. There, you can see that it
easy pick.
it derives its name. It derives its name from the blue coloration. So it's basically a bluebird with a brownish belly and then like a little creamy undercarriage there.
Creamy
I like
undercarriage.
Yeah, I like the use of undercarriage there. That was a really, really good use.
I like the word.
It's a beautiful bird. I used to see these flying around all the time, and I normally associate Missouri with the cardinal. Obviously, for obvious reasons. The baseball team is the Cardinals, and you see a shit ton of Cardinals in Missouri. But the off chance that you're going to see a bluebird it's quite a pretty sight.
Well, listen, we already found out last week where the cardinal truly belongs, and that's Indiana. But I did pick this one on purpose. This is a photo of this bird propped on a white picket fence. Nod to famous Samuel Clemens story.
Wait, who's Samuel Clemens?
That would be the real name of Mark Twain.
Oh, of course.
Do you guys know how to pronounce Mark Twain?
Yeah, Mark Twain.
Well, it's more of a boat call. It's historically a boat call.
It's about 20 feet from the bottom, right?
Well, no, they used to call it out. I think it's like a countdown of sorts. Like one person yells Mark and the other guy yells Twain.
And I don't want to say too much of this because I'm not from your state, but I'm almost positive that it has to do with a depth measurement in the river.
Ooh,
on a riverboat.
Okay, that sounds right. Honestly, that sounds right.
What do you think, Dylan?
This is all over my head, so I'll agree.
You've never heard of a boat?
No, I have not.
Well, Missouri is landlocked, so it's quite understandable that Dillon has never seen perhaps the water.
But have you seen an eastern bluebird?
I have. I knew it was a blue bird of some kind. I didn't know the name for this bird.
Oh my God. Okay. How many more slides do we have, Anthony?
Okay, this one is Kansas City, the most populous city in all of Missouri.
Is that true? It's not St. Louis?
No, it's Kansas City, the most populous. That's a beautiful nighttime selection that shows kind of the bustling nature of the nightlife.
There's actually a gorgeous skyline. A lot of Art Deco, interesting influences.
Surprisingly big. I didn't know that there were going to be skyscrapers.
I think this might be the angle we're seeing it at. I think it might just be a normal sized city,
great
but
stuff there.
from a good angle, it looks like a
World War I
9 or
memorial.
10 inch
The next slide's also Kansas City. Why don't we get another taste of it?
Oh, wow.
That's a daytime shot, kind of a dusky shot. With
Absolutely. This is a golden hour if I've ever seen it.
Truly. What are you pointing at there?
Oh, the new the art. Gosh, what is it? Opera House. It's the ballet. It's modeled after the Sydney Opera House. You can see it here.
Oh, yeah. Kind of like it looks like a Pringle. Looks
Yeah,
like a
a
curved
little bit.
potato chip.
Lots of
And
culture.
when I think of the Sydney Opera House, I think of Pringles.
As we all do.
Okay, you're going a little fast. I mean,
sorry. I
Kansas
think
City, Kansas City deserves a little more attention. When you were there, did you think those photos accurately represented your experience with Kansas City, the kind of nightlife element to it?
Yeah, I've absolutely seen this picture before.
Okay.
Yeah, Kansas City's great.
Let's move on. I mean, like,
Okay,
we're only on the
Actually,
8th slide out of 21.
Go back to the slide before this, which was also Kansas City.
No, don't go back.
I'm
The thing
sorry,
we're
I
missing
already
just
scrolled
barely
back.
here is the plaza, which is a big part of Kansas City, which is like the downtown shopping area.
Ooh, any fun shops down there?
Oh, tons. All the ones you want to go to.
Name
Guys,
one.
seriously.
Apple Store.
Okay.
Nice.
Urban
We can-
Outfitters.
we can move on.
Slide
we can
9,
move on.
please.
Okay,
All right.
slide 9. This looks a little familiar.
That's the daytime shot of the arch. It was constructed between 1963, finished up in 1965.
When you say
Is that the
daytime
largest
shot of
arch
the
in the world?
is it?
I think
Yes,
it's,
it is.
it's
It's gotta
possibly
be,
the
right?
only arch
Yeah,
in the
is
world.
there another one
I don't think so.
anywhere?
I don't know any other arches in the world.
This is the second most populous city in all of Missouri, guys.
Wow.
Are we
Interesting.
doing the third?
Nope. But we
You
will do a
fucking
nighttime
asshole.
shot.
I knew it. When
A
you said
nighttime
daytime
shot
shot of the
of
arch,
the
I
arch.
was like, oh, well,
It's a different feel, a different skyline, a different portrait of this humble city.
no, it's not.
Yes.
It's from the same angle.
Move on. Jesus.
Okay, so there's
God, I'm
All right,
so
is
Is
tired
this the
of
least
seeing
populous?
so
I feel like for most of these Midwestern states, we're just going to be seeing farms.
We
So
just
St.
keep
Louis-
seeing barns.
it's an important part of the state, okay? So St. Louis isn't the only part. Kansas City's not the only part. There's also ample farmland. All right? And then there's also small towns. Go ahead, small towns.
Small town Missouri.
That's a small town, and if you live in a small town like this,
What is that town?
You know, I couldn't tell you. But
This,
that's how
this
much.
might not even be in Missouri. Then.
Yes, it is. The population. The
That's
population
Parkville.
is
That's my like downtown area.
okay.
That's
see,
Parkville?
I know what the fuck
Oh.
I'm doing.
Wait, so you grew up there?
I'm pretty sure that's it. Yeah, because this is now closed, and there's
Wow.
a mini golf place right up here.
You're
and-
not lying.
No, I'm pretty sure this is downtown Parkville.
Wow, what a guess.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, it's just kind of a small town feel here. You know, very relaxed, very quaint.
Finders keepers. This is it. You found a picture of my exact hometown.
Well,
This is
That's
fucking
insane. Well,
gross.
why don't you
Wow.
scroll
Voted
down just a little bit?
the
If you
cutest
go
small
to, if you
town
live
in
in a small
America.
town like this, you might go to a high school, something along the lines of Eureka High School.
Oh, I see what's going on now. Anthony just looked up where Dillon was from. He looked up where
No,
I went to
I
high
actually
school.
didn't look up where Dillon was from. That one was by chance, but this one was just a little nod to you. If you go to a place like Eureka High School, you might star in a production of Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
No, I can't believe
Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead. You can see Tim in that picture. If you need an enhanced view, feel free to scroll down to the next slide. We've got a zoomed in pic of
Where did
Tim.
you find this picture? This is an old picture from me in high school. Oh my god.
You're famous on the web. I typed Eureka High School Tim Ferrari, and you came up in multiple pictures, but this is the one I happened to choose because I could locate you easily.
Tim, can you tell me about that production of Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are Dead?
Sure. I was Hamlet. I played Hamlet in Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are Dead.
Big role.
I really, really, really wanted to play Guildenstern because he was like the wittier one of the two. But
Why would you want to do that?
Because I find myself to be a comedian of like a high mental status and believe that I play to the height of my intelligence, as opposed to the person who's next to me in this picture. His name is Alex. I forget his last name, but this motherfucker played Guildenstern, and quite frankly, he played it way better than I could have.
So, Dylan, how does this image relate to your Missouri experience?
Pretty good. I bet if you were to dive deep enough, you'd find a very similar image of me.
Did
And
you do
I'm
any
interested-
child theater?
Oh, yeah.
Can you give me, what was your favorite production you were in?
I was Dracula in a
No way.
in a short.
that's cool.
In
That's
like a
badass.
one-act
Was
play.
it a musical?
No, it wasn't.
All right, Tim's signaling we need to get rolling. This is another small town street. We don't need to linger on it for too long, but it does kind of show that same nature. If you're from a small town, you might live in a home like this. Scroll down a little bit. You might live in a home like this.
That's my parents' home. I can't put this up online. This is going to be supplementary material for the podcast. I can't put my parents' home online.
Well, that sucks.
Why not? It's
my address and phone number are in this episode.
Why are you ashamed of this home? It's beautiful.
clear.
I'm
It's
not
everyone's
ashamed of it.
address.
It's incredible, but I don't want to give my... don't want to show what my parents' house looks
Well,
like.
what's the
Okay,
next
fine.
photo?
If you don't want to show your parents' house, just scroll down. We'll move on.
This is the interior of my parents' house.
A typical Missouri,
I'm really interested in seeing what's further down. On
a typical Missouri home.
I'm sweating bullets
Can
right
I,
now.
Tim, how do you feel about this? How does this
I'm
relate to your Missouri
incredibly
experience?
upset, Anthony.
How does this relate to your Missouri experience? It should have a direct correlation with your
does.
exact experience.
It does. It corresponds to the later half of my Missouri career, where my parents just recently moved into this.
Stunning home, I'll say.
It is.
Oh,
Honestly.
it's gorgeous.
It's an
You
incredible
should see the
home.
basement and the backyard.
Yeah, it's like
Hachi, chachi.
we've got some nice shit.
It's nice.
We saw the eclipse there. It was incredible.
Oh.
Yeah.
Viewers or listeners, you'll be able to see this online shortly when we publish the slideshow in full. Next, we're moving on to Hodgson Mill, built in
Tim is
1860.
visibly upset about those last two slides.
Original mill built in the 1860s. Then this version of the mill was actually built in 1897, and it stopped active production in 1976 and became privately owned. So now it's just a beautiful little mill.
Oh, cool. Dylan?
What's on the 19th
Wow,
slide?
yeah, I got nothing on this one.
All right.
That's Shoal Creek. Does that speak to you with like a Missouri experience? That just
Oh,
looks like
Yeah.
some beautiful kind of brown, muted kind of wildlife, but still beautiful in a way.
I would say.
Camping in a place just like that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just like even.
Ooh.
Are these the Merrimack Caverns?
That one's Onondaga Cave State Park.
It's beautiful. This looks like the kind of place that a young Dracula would hang out.
Some stalactites.
Could
some
we maybe
stalagmites.
is Dracula with us?
Blood.
Get him out of here.
Okay, so that's just another natural wonder we'd find in Missouri. Some beautiful carved out area. But you can just go down, take us out with that final slide. Goodbye, Missouri.
What is this?
This is literally nothing.
Hold on. That's definitely. What?
What
What
it?
is this?
This was a random image I found when I searched Goodbye, Missouri.
Wait, another one. It's not even Missouri. This
That's
is
Missouri.
New York City. There's the Empire State Building in the background.
Okay, this.
That's St. Louis.
Oh my God.
No, it's not.
Seriously, let's finish this up. Jesus Christ.
Dylan,
Alright, just-
yeah.
Go back to that image of Tim's house real quick.
No, okay. Let's close this out. We have to absolutely Dylan, out of musical notes, what do you give this fucking presentation?
And
Oh,
it's out
this
of
was-
10 eighths
It's out of
notes.
10.
This has probably been my favorite thing so far. So 10 out of 10.
Oh yeah,
What the
that's
F?
what I'm talking
I
about.
really loved getting to see what the inside of Tim's house was like.
It's gorgeous. It's a beautiful place, and there's lots to steal.
Looks a lot like homes in
Yeah.
Kansas City.
Oh, that's nice to hear that there isn't that much of a divide between the two cities.
No, they're similar, I think.
Man,
Yeah.
that's a touching statement.
Yeah, I don't feel any animosity towards you, Dylan, being on the other side of the state.
No.
I feel like we're brotherly over anything, which gets me to the most important segment of the Statesmen, where we talk about how Missouri has touched our hearts.
Oh, okay.
So, I guess I'll start. You know, I feel very a strong kinship towards Missouri. I think I rejected it when I was a young boy. I really didn't like the move from New Jersey to Missouri, thinking that it totally destroyed my life. However, it did not. It has found a place in my heart that is irreplaceable to, I feel like, any other land in the United States. With that, I think I'll pass it over to you, Stuart.
This was a pretty rough episode for us in terms of friendship. I think a lot of borders were crossed. I think a lot of things were said that might not be able to be taken back. And I think this gooey butter cake that we shared together might be the last meal we share together.
Anthony.
I didn't really have much of an opinion about Missouri going in, because when I was younger, I never really thought about Missouri at all. I'm from the East Coast, and when I first heard about Missouri, I heard it referred to as misery, and I definitely thought that it would be a place that I would not be interested in living. Very dry, very boring, maybe a little red for my tastes at times, but that barbecue kind of lured me in. And then I eventually did have the chance to go to Missouri and experience it for myself when I went to Tim's beautiful home to watch the eclipse. And I have to say, those photos just show.
Yeah, and I think we will post online with this episode a photo of the three of us in Tim's backyard seeing the eclipse.
Oh, in the pool.
Yeah. And there is a pool on the property.
Yeah, saltwater.
But no, Missouri grew on me a lot. It's definitely a place I have to learn more about. Maybe a place that I'll spend a little more time. I did get to have some barbecue before I left. It was sweet and delicious. And you know, the people are not exactly what I expected. I kind of stereotyped them to be almost a little more Southern in my mind. But as we can see from Tim, as we can see from Dillon, not everyone fits that kind of farmland, down home, down south stereotype.
Not that there's anything wrong with it. I would say it's
no,
the
not at
backbone
all,
of
not at
America.
all. But and I'll come into it. I'll admit it. Was my stereotype. I didn't know about its damaged history from the Civil War. It's definitely got some black marks on its record, some strikes against it. But overall, I definitely go back. Beautiful state.
Dylan.
Missouri is a big part of me, and I think that the show me state is a part of me, and that I have a nice skeptical approach to things. It's a state of largely moderates. You may paint it as a red state, but it's primarily a lot of moderate people that are swayed one way or another. It is a lot of the time a back and forth fair weather state filled with great people.
I really like that.
That was great.
Yeah.
If you have any questions or concerns about the Great 50 States or the Statesmen, reach out to us on Twitter at StatesmanPod, on Facebook and Instagram at StatesmanPodcast, or by email at statesmanpodcast@gmail.com. Please like and rate us highly on Apple Podcasts. It helps out the show a lot. Dylan, thank you so much for coming on. Do you have anything to plug?
Yeah, we should have mentioned Branson, Missouri at least once.
Oh, that is true. Mm-hmm. We won't be able to play game slot. One of our game slots would have been Dream Vacation Paradise, which we will play sometime, where we approach you with great tourist spots of the state. However, Branson is a great tourist
I saw
spot.
Dolly Parton there.
No.
Holy shit.
Unfortunately,
That's a poll.
we just didn't have time to get into Branson with all that valuable content I already had to put in that presentation. There was just too much.
Yeah, and
guys,
I didn't even have enough time to play some of our favorite hits from the state, apparently.
Yeah, Stu, guys, I'm sorry. I wanna apologize formally, A, for coughing on the podcast, but B, also for my mean remarks towards you guys. We are good friends. We will continue to be great friends, and this cake is delicious.
Yeah, Tim, Anthony, this was great.
Thank you so much, Dillon.
Well, for the Statesman, I'm Stuart Highcar.
Whoa, 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 whoa,
Kill
whoa,
myself.
whoa. This is Tim Ferrari, the elder statesman, signing off on behalf of my junior statesman, Anthony Rossi,
Goodbye.
and Stuart Highcar. Bye-bye. Happy stating.
Goodbye, my baby. Slumber time is coming soon. Rest your head upon my breast while Mammy hums this tune. The shadows are falling. The Sandman is calling. And the soft breezes sigh.